So Justin Fields probably going to get traded to the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, so the past couple weeks, it's been rumored that Chicago is going to move Justin Fields. I mean, it makes sense. This is why. So you're looking at Chicago, right? If you're in the front office and you got to make a business decision, Justin's going to be coming up on his 5th-year option. If they decide to pick that up, they're going to have to pay him over $25 million a year. And it kind of makes sense. Like, hey, look, we can draft a guy if not as good or better than Justin Fields. We're going to get him cheaper. He's a rookie, and it's going to be their pick. Justin Fields wasn't Ryan Poles' pick. It wasn't Matt Eberflus's pick. It was the previous regime with Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. Now, if they keep Justin Fields, I'm fine with that. I can understand them wanting to move on, and I think it's strictly a financial decision. I think if it wasn't his 5th-year option, they would keep Justin, to be honest with you. I don't think they would draft a quarterback. But I think financially it makes sense. And when you look at Chicago as a whole, you look at them just through the generations, right? That's the type of team they are. They're never the worst team in the NFL. I mean, sometimes you have a splash season where they're not so good. And, that's happened. But they're never the worst team. They never are. They're always a middle-of-the-road type of program. And when you think about, they probably aren't really good as an organization, as a program, putting a good team together and being a playoff team every year, going to the Super Bowl. But when you look at it from a financial standpoint, you look at it as a business, Chicago, the Bears are a very profitable and a very successful football program. I mean, they're worth a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of money. So when you look at it from that point of view, like, it makes sense. Now, they're probably going to move off of Justin. He's probably going to go to Atlanta, and he's from Kennesaw. It's right outside Atlanta. I'm sure the front office of Chicago, I'm sure his agent and him have already had this conversation. They already kind of know what's going to happen. He's unfollowed the Chicago Bears on Instagram, and he's unfollowed the NFL, even though unfollowing the NFL, I feel like, is more of a smokescreen. I think the writing's on the wall, and I think Justin's a professional. He's like, look, I understand this is a business, and I think he wants to go to Atlanta. And I'll be honest with you, the question really comes into play is, did he ever really want to play for Chicago? Did he ever really put his whole heart and soul on the field there in Chicago for the Bears? And the answer is, I don't know. I'm not Justin Fields. He'd probably think that's an insult if he heard me say that personally. If I knew him personally, he'd probably be like, bruh, really? When you look at his game, when you look at his time in Chicago and the things that he's done, there's games where he looks incredible. And then there's games where he barely mediocre. He's not reading the field. He's slow to, get rid of the ball. And he's not doing the things that a proficient quarterback would do at his level and as long as he's playing in the league. So it comes into question whether or not he even wants to play for Chicago. And a good example of this, and why I bring this up, is look at the footage of when he got drafted and his reaction. This doesn't, I might be reading too much into this, but check this out.
In the 2021 NFL Draft, my Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
If you ask me, that doesn't look like a guy that wants to play for the Chicago Bears. When you see his reaction, it kind of looks like a guy like, shit, I just got drafted by the Chicago Bears. Why? He didn't seem happy about that situation. But hey, look, if they decide to move on from him, he's still going to get paid. He goes to Atlanta. He's still going to get a similar contract. He's going to get a bigger contract. He's going to get paid. And, it's due. These guys, I think people take for granted what it is to be a professional athlete. I've been around people that don't like sports and their attitudes towards athletes, they make too much money. But the truth is, they're like, well, that whole argument, why don't, surgeons should make that much money? They save lives. And it's like, I'm not disagreeing with you. It's not that I don't think that a doctor, somebody that can perform a surgical miracle, shouldn't be paid well. And they do get paid very well, by the way. But no, they don't make as much as a professional athlete. When you look at what a professional athlete makes and the time span, as long as the season is, they're one of the best paid people on the planet when you look at it from an hourly perspective, a salary perspective, they are very well paid, and some of the highest. That's some of the highest paid positions in the world, as you know, being a professional athlete. But don't make that mistake that being a professional athlete is easy. It's extremely hard work. It's extremely physical. And when you look at the NFL, to put this into perspective, the type of athlete you have to be to make it at that level, to make it at the NFL level, you have every kid that's in high school, right? Even middle school. If you're playing football in middle school, right? Okay? And then you got high school, and then you got college, okay? And then you got semi-pro leagues, right? You got the CFL. I mean, that's professional football, but you have like the Europe League, you have the Mexican League. So you look at all these, and it's not just football. It can be basketball, it can be golf, tennis, whatever sport, right? Soccer. So, and to put this is where I want to put this into perspective, is that only 6% of all the collegiate athletes that play football, only 6% of them make it to the NFL every given year. That means you have to be the top 6% best athlete at that position. So you have about 1 million players that play high school football, and then another 81,000 college athletes. That's between the NCAA and the NAIA. Okay, only 6% of those athletes will make it to the NFL any given year. So the point I'm trying to make is that it's very difficult. It's very hard, and you have to dedicate your whole life to this. This has to be your passion. Football is volatile. These positions, being a football, it's all volatile. It's extremely hard to be a professional athlete. It's extremely hard to stay at the top of your game for multiple years. You know, to have a really good career. I'd say 8 years is a really good career. You got like LeBron James, Tom Brady, these guys, they played for over 20 years. It's just not, that's not normal. That doesn't normally happen. So for that to happen, it's like the odds are just insane. So Chicago moving on from Justin Fields. I've expressed how I felt about this. I think they should keep him, but if they don't, it is what it is. I have learned, and I've said this in my previous videos, I have learned to not get as upset over the game than I have in the past. There's no point in me getting upset. I'm not in the building. I'm not there. I'm not playing. Why? Yes, I love my Bears. I want to see them win. But if they don't, it is what it is. How I feel about Caleb Williams is I'm not, like, what are we doing? You know, we're going to have the same guy? You know, time will tell. You know, when we drafted Fields, you know, everybody's like, oh, you guys got lucky with Fields. It's like, we don't know that yet. We don't know what's going to happen. You know, only time will tell. We can try to make guesses. And that's what all these NFL insiders do, all these sports analysts. It's just guessing with style. That's it. That's all it is. You're guessing with style. It's speculation. Nobody really knows. Nobody really knows. But that's where I'm at with it, guys. You know, I could see Justin Fields moving on. I guess the program doesn't really see that he's made enough progress. He's not done enough for the program to continue being the starter there, and I think they don't want to pay him the $25 million a year. They don't want to do it, so they're just going to move on from him, and he's probably going to go to Atlanta. But it's probably the end of the Justin Fields era here in Chicago. You guys, let me know how you feel about this down in the comments. If you're happy about him leaving, if you think they should keep him, what do you think Chicago's going to do? You think they're actually going to trade him? I think they're going to trade him. You know, all these rumors, him unfollowing the Bears on Instagram, you know, his attitude when he went on that show with, what's their name? The St. Brown brothers. Yeah. So his attitude, the way he was behaving, I think he's out of Chicago. I think he just wants to take a break. He says he wants to go on vacation. He doesn't want to think about football. So let me know what you think down in the comments. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up for me. It'll recommend my video to other people on YouTube. Until the next one, guys, I'm out of here.